Okay, my name is Sheila Karuna, and we're just going to pick right up with session number 34 of Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volume 1. If you're following along with me, we're on page 116. I had to stop and go regale my roommate. This is so wild to me. I will be releasing these. As of today, I will release all of them that I have recorded so far. And moving forward, I'm going to be releasing these as I record them. Because for me, there's way too many synchronicities and how I'm being shown this is all going down for me personally. And so the nudge came heavily at this point. I also want to say if you feel nudged to join myself and others in a book study group, we are going to begin reading this together and stopping and having conversation about it. And that will begin, I believe now, September 8th. I have to double check on that date. But if you're interested, it will be at 1 p.m. In the from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time on every Friday thereafter, beginning on September 8th. If you're interested in joining us for that, reach out to me at consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. And that's where you will reach me. So, session number 34. At the point in your timing when this project was initiated, there was a very small window in which to begin the process. I have to stop this here too and share that I just learned that there may be way more to this material than I've already been assuming, in that it's much older than 2018. There is a chance that this material is decades older, which I find very interesting if that be the case. Once, back to the book here now, once the idea, I'm just going to start that again, at the point in your timing when this project was initiated, there was a very small window in which to begin the process. Once the idea was grasped and acted upon, the next window encompassing moving into the process was much larger. This step allowed for the contact of various new individuals to be made aware and to continue the enlarging of the window. The addition of other minds grasping the basic idea and focusing their intention of participating has continued opening the window to allow for the continuing inclusion of additional participants. The expansiveness of this movement allows the process to come into harmony with the expression of the divine order, which is expansive in its very nature. The momentum of the outward movement of this information forms the basis continuing this harmonious flow and ensures the divine participation that is essential to success. It is important that you realize the key to success is in expansive outward movement. It is the combination of grasping the various aspects of this intended change of attitude and focusing it through the needed number of points of individual awareness. I feel with all of me that's a true statement. The importance of these aspects is the establishment of an outward flow and maintaining this flow. New contacts must be made by as many of the recently contacted individuals as possible to keep this expansive flow in motion. As memories are keyed to think of other appropriate people not yet contacted, then ones can continue to make additional contacts. This ensures that those without commitment to carry the quote letter to Garcia do not impede this essential outward expansion. And I have to pause this here because I feel like I'm hearing something that I'm not sure it's conveying. I feel as though this is saying, and what I'm hearing, whether it's meant to or not, is that each of us are contacted. I see this across the board, whether we know we're being contacted or not, whether we really understand we're being asked this question by the universe or not, it is happening. And this says, I have to back it up here. The importance of these aspects is the establishment of the outward flow and maintaining this flow. New contacts must be made by as many of the recently contacted individuals as possible to keep this expansive flow in motion. I feel like that's referring to others who are feeling this but not real sure they're feeling it, perhaps. I'm not quite sure what I'm. As memories are keyed to think of other appropriate people not yet contacted, then ones can continue to make additional contacts. This ensures that those without commitment to carry the letter to Garcia do not impede the essential outward expansion. In other words, those who are choosing not to commit to carry the letter to Garcia or to participate in what is happening. And it is a choice, and we have to respect that, right? And they will not impede what is going on. And I don't feel that on any level that they would. To demand their acquiescence and do what we think is right is the same kind of frequency as that which is trying to make us all do something that's right. I hope that made any sense, or at least that's where my mind is. Back to the book here. If these messages were to be sent out to new contacts that are considered to be ones sure to follow through and actually continue the flow, it would perhaps be appropriate to send the first few as an introductory packet, a cover note suggesting that if theirs is a real commitment, then on request, more of the messages will be provided. This would allow a spread of the cost for reproduction and mailing. See, this actually is answering that question to me right now. This was channeled back during a time where these were coming in. This is what was supposed, what I was informed of just a little while ago, having a conversation with Lisa. She felt as though this was decades old, that she had found that these were part of subscription newsletters of channeled material that was happening during the, I don't know, probably the late 90s or so, because it refers to the enemy of state. So it had to have been after 1994 that this particular one was channeled at the very least. So I find this very interesting because I'm going to read this again. A cover note suggesting that if theirs is a real commitment, then on request, more of the messages will be provided. This would allow a spread of the cost for reproduction and mailing so that it would not be burdensome to a few. Each committed one would, in all probability, make only a few appropriate contacts. This also allows for anonymity and protection. It is assumed that only those known and deemed appropriate would be contacted so that discussions could be carried on in the groups of 3, 7, and 12. And in parentheses here, this is again to remind you of the numerical power available within divine mathematical order. It is entirely appropriate that attempts to formulate a possible statement of purpose should be made at small group levels. The more of these attempts that are made, the sooner the quote, perfect one will stand forth. When that happens, that group will be totally aware that completion has been accomplished for that phase. What to do next will also be drawn into that group awareness, attracted by the power of the fusion of all the input from the totality of the groups. Here again, you are reminded that thought thinks within and upon itself when it is in divine harmony. How many participants are necessary for this parenting phase? That depends on 3 factors. Whom, how quickly the phase is initiated, and the productive discussions actually taking place. The ball is in your court. Responses in terms beyond intellectualizing the shift in perception are the keys. I know that I've still been in an intellectual exercise. I feel like I'm beginning to see a little bit of what has been trying to be revealed. So I know it's shifting. Back to the book, we can participate further when we return the ball to our court. In the meantime, we are limited in this project to this flow of information and encouragement. The overall view from our perspective is somewhat encouraging. The plans of the interesting participants of opposite purpose continue right on schedule. It is important that the view of our focus is one of action and not reaction. It is in the ability of our group to have a balanced dual perspective that spreads with the awareness of our project. This will sustain the momentum. There must be an awareness of the awesome inevitability of the probable success of their, quote, plan, and a balancing awareness that ours is the only shift available that offers the power to bring release from the intended horrific future. Oh, sorry, it says horrendous future. If followed with dedication and resolve, through application of the universal laws of attraction, focused intention, to application of the focused intention to create a new paradigm of experience and allowance through lack of resistance. Return to balance and harmony must be the end result. Only through this format can the help so ardently sought by suffering humanity be answered. All of the above discussion of bringing others into the awareness of the possibility of creating a new paradigm experience for this planetary focus, when simply stated, is that, and this is all in italics, the return to personal responsibility is the only avenue leading to success. Oh, I feel that with all of my vessel, because it was not until I decided to take matters into my own hands that I moved from death's door to what you see before you now. And those who know me know that very well. Wow. Okay, wait a minute. Here we go. I lost my place. It is in the ability of our group to have a balanced dual perspective that spreads with the awareness of our project. This will sustain the momentum. There must be an awareness of the awesome inevitability of the probable success of their plan, and a balancing awareness that ours is the only shift available that offers the power to bring release from the intended horrendous future. If followed with dedication and resolve through application of the universal laws of attraction, focused intention to create a new paradigm of experience and allowance through lack of resistance, return to balance and harmony must be the end result. Only through this format can the help so ardently sought by suffering humanity be answered. All of the above discussion of bringing others into the awareness of the possibility of creating a new paradigm of experience for this planetary focus, when simply stated, is that the return to personal responsibility is the only avenue leading to success. As individuals assume responsibility, group responsibility through cooperation is the inevitable result. Those unable to move beyond the desire for personal material gain and the need to control the proceedings and the outcome will soon drop by the wayside. If discernment is used in choosing appropriate contacts, those may be considered but not contacted. If at first appropriate names do not come into your awareness as you continue to desire to participate, names and coincidental contacts will, quote, happen. The law of attraction works. Just hold the desire in your consciousness, especially at times of least attention to other activities. As you retire, when you awaken, at the end of meditation or intentional prayer times are appropriate. The more often it comes into your mind and you feel strongly about desiring to be part of this positive after exercise in participation with the Creator within his modus operandi, the greater the contribution you will make. Commitment and resolve are the buoyant qualities that hold this desire on the surface of your consciousness, so that opportunities for you to participate are attracted to you. Through this process, you will indeed be a blessing and a focused beam of light in this darkened world. A spotlight spreads into a larger and larger circle at the end of the beam. A greater understanding through your choice to become a part of this project will allow you to spread this light of understanding in the midst of a darkening world. Your inner confidence and the peace of knowing that something powerfully new is already being created as the present reality is changing is a powerful, positive role. And I do know that this is true statement I just read right here. I feel it with all of my body. Oh, wait a minute. That says a powerful, positive pole. This attitude will attract to you those desiring change and ready to transcend the victim state. You will be the pebble within your own pond of experience. Your service will continue to expand to other levels of experience. Let me just say, yes. And I got to experience quite handily how even showing in physicality, moving from death to life, by folks who know me personally, not all make the choice to find out why, how, what are you doing? I'll have what you're having, kind of thing. Not everybody makes that choice, and we have to respect that. And that was my experience, and I had to experience that, and so I would see that. Back to the book here. Don't plan on a dull and boring life from this point on. That's true. If you want dull and boring, man, don't undertake this quest, because I've had more fun and more personal joy opening myself to the mysteries of what I am going to reveal to me. Whew, that's been so much fun. Your participation in this project will bring with it personal rewards. Recognized sainthood is not one of them. Changes in consciousness will happen as you participate and as your body is able to accommodate them. And I know that's true too, because I've been through so much with this body, man. And wow. Those of you who continue to dishonor the living temple of your spirit will miss out on some of these rewards. I feel that, caffeine, carbonation, a diet of prepared or overcooked foods, etc., require you to reconsider your priorities. Many of you are without a mate that results in choosing to eat out. Consider your choices and opt for food cooked for shorter periods. Include raw foods. If you eat at home, many supermarkets now carry some organic foods. Overeating causes the body to use its energy digesting rather than using it for more productive modes. Similar amounts of nourishing foods allow the body to use its available energy in other activities and possibly require shorter sleep periods. Much is being asked of you. But knowing you incarnated herein this lifetime to participate in this project allows you to stop wondering, quote, why me? Why here? Why now? This in itself will bring you to change your priorities. I have felt that's the case. If all we have to do is start asking ourselves questions, and it opens up oh so much. For me, that's where it started. As participation in it becomes your priority, those activities that are not important to it will shift out of your life. It is the way it works. Will this take over your life? We would hope not. It is where the action is, and so your life will take it over. A different and energizing perspective. That's true. The taking on of, and this is italics, personal responsibility, and moving within the flow of creation for the purpose of expanding creation, bring rewards of a personal nature as well to the larger picture. It is a most enjoyable experience. As you participate, you will remember how it feels to be in balance and harmony, and this will assist you in knowing and making your necessary contributions to the wholeness of the project. To bless is to be blessed indeed. Wow. And that is so true. I mean, for me, I just that I resonate with that whole session there. I'm going to jump right to number 35 now, page 119. It is interesting from our perspective to see that you are busily building a reservoir of energy that is standing in stagnation. There is a growing number of people aware of the Paradigm Project, but few, if any, have sat down to play at composing what might be their personal idea of a statement of purpose. It is as though you must wait until you meet in some type of formal meeting to accomplish anything. Where is personal responsibility in this response? It would seem to me that bringing your personally defined idea along with you would bring different level of intent to a meeting to define a purpose. It is hoped that this would be a natural outcome of the suggestion that you begin this process for your own salvation. Do not assume that your ground crew status will be enough. Do not assume that your ground crew status will be enough. You are in third dimensional experience and are governed by it, the same as all other inhabitants of the Earth planet. If personal responsibility is the keynote, then operate within it, especially with regard to the project, if you hope to achieve its purpose. We are finding it difficult from the perspective of our experience to comprehend just how difficult it is for you to experience within the vibrational level of Earth. The combination of planned lowering techniques being applied to all aspects of earthly existence is inevitably lowering the vibration in measurable calibrations. It is the concerted effects of the multiple techniques that are accomplishing this. The critical mass of humans now within the control of these combined techniques will soon be reached. It is important for you to have the understanding that the critical mass point needed for evil intent is different than it is for intent of upliftment. This cannot be calculated in simple percentages, for the degree of evolvement of each soul and its extensions must be considered in this calculation. This will not stay up for nothing. As the vibratory rate descends, the critical mass point ascends, while the opposite is true from our point of view. Lowering the vibratory rate is much more difficult than raising it. A simple realization can cause a jump in vibratory rate. So why don't we just trigger a big planetary realization and fix the whole thing? As the vibratory rate lowers, the brain synapses become more and more difficult. Also, the use of the sugar substitute, such as equal, is slowly destroying the ability of the brain to function as it destroys the nerve endings. It can and does cross the blood-brain barrier. Further, low fat, high sugar bearing carbohydrate diets are starving the brain cells. All of this is part of the plan. Remember, they understand the functions of the physical body well enough to be able to develop techniques to weaken the connection of the being to its vibratory source in hopes it can be broken at their moment of choosing. May we stress that you think carefully about this information and that you read your labels and take personal responsibility in the care of the bodily functions necessary to participate in this project. Now, this is something that I am working on right now. I have been for several years. I'm seeing it differently in the last few months here on a whole lot of basis, a whole lot of levels, actually. Back to the book. Beyond that which was mentioned, gotta pause for the pause. One moment. Yeah, I had to stop that to answer my phone because we are preparing for a my granddaughter's birthday this afternoon, but I hope I can remember my place. I'm just going to back up to where I know I have read. And it was talking about sugar. Further, low fat, high sugar bearing carbohydrate diets are starving the brain cells. All of this is part of the plan. Remember, they understand the functions of the physical body well enough to be able to develop techniques to weaken the connection of the being to its vibratory source in hopes it can be broken at their moment of choosing. May we stress that you think carefully about this information and that you read your labels and take personal responsibility in the care of the bodily functions necessary to participate in this project. Beyond that which was mentioned in this message and the previous one, the remaining critical factor is the pH level of your body and your blood. Okay, this is very interesting to me because I happen to know a bit about this myself. If you are serious about wanting to return to higher dimensional experience, then you are required to master the third dimension, and the completion of this project is recommended as your ticket. Your personal responsibility is being responsible for your personal expression of this life experience, starting with your body temple. To do that now, you will need to think independently of what is being touted in your media and by the medical community. Even most alternative, quote, professionals are versed in less than holistic understanding and offer only partial assistance with their expensive products. Massage is a pleasant interlude, but it is not a replacement for personal responsibility of regular gentle exercise. Are we lecturing you? What is offered is in way of guidance. If you take it in any other way, then you are reacting through the distorted ego function. It depends on whether you can act rather than intellectualize. The ego has been distorted so that it loves to pontificate and to excuse so that personal responsibility can be avoided. Oh, that's so true. Oh my gosh. That is so true. I've recognized that about myself in a horror. Back to the book. It is so much easier to talk than to do when changing established patterns are involved. It can be overcome by ignoring it and placing the focus beyond the chaos of change and instead to visualize the end result. Picture bypass the intellectualizing process. In order to come up with a statement of purpose, the parenting groups must spend personal time visualizing, dreaming what each can conceive through imagination. And in parentheses here, going within the mind of God, close parentheses, and then attempting to put it into concise wording. The process can begin with words, then mental movies, then words again, etc. This would bring into practice purposeful meditation, a wonderful tool of higher dimensions. I believe it has been referred to as, quote, becoming that which you desire. Those known as shaman and oracles use this technique and walk in, quote, two worlds. There are nuances of the universal laws that serve the intended purpose of experiencing your way back to the source of all. It is an adventure offering challenge and joy beyond third dimensional physical challenges. These leave the empty feelings that one's feel can only be filled with more challenging experiences that bring the same frustrating results of emptiness. The paths of learning are blocked, and mankind on earth is left chasing its non-existent tail and is being led in a downward spiral. Continuing in our focus of accepting personal responsibility, it is important to consider another aspect. The ideal of personal responsibility is perceived as being heavy on the responsibility aspect. It would serve humanity better if the accent were on the personal aspect. Again, personal has been distorted to assume the meaning of selfishness, which is translated from the deliberate focus of denying that one can create independence and must take what is needed from someone else. The bankers on your planet illustrate this law of the proposed negative system and carry out this concept to the extreme. This group is not only visualizing their planned result, but are living it now. This increases the available energy required for their plan to move forward. Your Bible has a statement within it that reads something like, quote, the rain falls on the just and the unjust. How do you feel about that? The rain refers to the universal laws working within the focus of either polarity. You are programmed to think that the negative pole is always, quote, bad. Within the context of the whole, this is not true. There is no electricity or energy moving without both poles. It is distorted use beyond the norms of balance that are at issue in this instance. Personal has the true meaning of the harmonious expression of the fragment of creator energy expressing radiantly by continuing the flow of expansive energy into whatever dimension it is within. The word was devised within the focus of referral to the fragments as the family of God. Per son, S-O-N is all caps there, A-L, per son, all. Again, the masculine reference because it is within the perception of expansiveness being a masculine aspect. In other words, personal responsibility reflects the willingness to be a flow of expansive energy within the realm of your pattern of experience. With the cycle of energy surrounding you moving in an opposite directional flow, you must swim upstream, so to speak, to accomplish what you intend. Hopefully, these messages will provide a convenient rock on which you can stand above this flow in order to get your equilibrium, gain strength through resolve, and then start to gather the rocks necessary, build a dam to divert the flow in a new direction. Yours is a holy project reflecting the holistic nature of how, quote, it all works. Within your sequential focus, it must come together piece by piece, but it may not, in true reality, work that way. This is why it is so important that you trust the process, especially when you think things are not working as they should be. Just do your part and all will come into place. Trust. Oh my gosh. The fact that the last word of this one that I will be recording for today is trust is not lost on me either. So I will be releasing all of these. I've recorded many of them over the last 2 weeks or so, and I was going to, release them a little bit at a time, but I've decided to just release them because there's too much and too much synchronicity within these, and I'm feeling the urgency at this moment to release them. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful for you. It's all just puzzle pieces for you to find you and trust you, develop that discernment with you. That's the way I see it for myself anyway. I hope you will ever move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of your focus and your perspective and whether or not there's a call for a shift between those two. Till next time, be well, my friends.